Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 has had the world's attention with its run this year, and before I get into more personal thoughts on how I feel about the adaptation, I feel like there's some objective truths about this season I want to touch upon. In this new age of anime adaptations, most of us have literally watched the change in the industry as anime has become more mainstream. If you would have told a 10-year-old me back in 2011 that the standard for anime would have become this high, I definitely wouldn't have believed you. And with the trajectory of social media and this niche becoming a more widely discussed topic, naturally the pressures and expectations that go into the making of animes would increase too. I definitely feel that with the release of shows like Demon Slayer and Jujutsu Kaisen, also Chainsaw Man, etc., we've gotten a clear reflection of how ambitious anime projects have gotten in the last few years, and how much more they will be in the future. And it might be because I actively make videos on these series that's the only reason that me as an individual is even aware of these facts, but Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 definitely hasn't lived up to what it could have been. Now wait, because I already know people are trying to go to the comment section and start talking crazy. For people who might not know, this is just objectively the truth, as we've seen the outroar and complaints that have been flooding from the animators who have been working on the series, and the terrible working conditions they've been experiencing while delivering Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, which a lot of people haven't been happy about. And very briefly, I just want to thank the animators for the work they've done on the series and that they will do in future for upcoming episodes, because again, it might just be because I'm older and more aware of things, but the way I consume anime isn't the way I used to like when I was a kid, with basically no one else's input or whole viral tweets either praising or slandering a series, meme accounts and people farming for impressions, etc. And given the fact I talk about these series, I can't feign ignorance like I don't know what's going on. So again, I just want to thank the animators for all they've done for one of my favorite series, especially given time constraints. Because I for one have loved Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, and even thinking that what we could have gotten could have been better and was just a percentage of the overall vision they had for things like the Sukuna portions of the Shibuya incident arc is insane to think about. I was literally talking to one of my friends the other day who watches anime but isn't involved in any communities or anything. He just watches at his own pace. He doesn't even know that I do YouTube for your information, but he was so hyped over the Sukuna vs Mahoraga episode, saying it was one of the greatest things he's ever seen. And me who enjoyed the episode 2 told him, you know, I saw online that this was like 30% of what the animators were actually trying to accomplish with the episode, and it was supposed to be way better. And the way he looked at me in surprise, honestly I wish I recorded it, but it was hilarious. But it honestly just put into perspective for me how good this season's been despite things being rushed and incomplete. Because even though I definitely could see parts within Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 episode 17 for example, where things weren't all put together and were just barely holding on, it was still a spectacle. And everyone's allowed their own opinions on series. If you like it, that's fine. If you hate it, that's also fine. I'm not here to convert anyone or try to force a narrative outside of my own opinions. But this season has just shown me how much better anime is getting over time, or at least how dedicated they are nowadays to making seasonal animes into absolute movies. The impact anime is having on the world is only going to increase. But Mappa as a studio really have to chill and allocate more time for their workers to cook, because with horrible conditions, it just creates more reason for talented animators to never want to work on specific series. For example, Vincent Charizard, a more well-known animator who was responsible for some of these insane cuts in the latest episode, made this tweet, and it's just sad to see. And keep in mind there's so many more talented animators who have delivered the same work for Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 who might follow the same path because it's just not worth it to work in such a bad environment, which could definitely hurt these series in the future. And given that even these last 3 episodes of Sukuna action, which I personally think was just a top tier viewing experience as an anime fan, is arguably not even the peak of the Shibuya incident arc, with the important upcoming events we have yet to witness, it just leaves you as a viewer worried for the animators and the series itself. But speaking of Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, I feel we've gotten the best of both worlds with this season's adaptation. The art style has definitely been a topic of conflict, but I think it's been very solid and suits the series well. Although I was definitely a fan of the way the direction was with Season 1, Season 2 is just as good for me. The hidden inventory arc, though very short, contains some of the most creative direction we've had in the series up until this point, and I feel like the Gojo's past arc being a more relaxed arc, obviously until the clashing of the Honored One and the one who left it all behind, really elevated Jujutsu Kaisen's storytelling aspect outside of fights. Being a battle shonen that progresses most of his plot through his battles, even more so than his peers, Jujutsu Kaisen often gets critiqued for elements outside of his fight scenes being underwhelming or lackluster, but I feel like the anime really took it a step further with said elements. Though I'm not an anime only, so maybe I can appreciate this more because I can compare both mediums, but for example with Geto's mental decline and descent into darkness, I feel like they hit the nail on the head execution wise. I still think about that clapping scene and his reoccurrence in Geto's head long after the tragic events with the Star Plasma Vessel to this day. In terms of elevation though, I'm talking specifically when the clapping mixed with the rain pouring outside. It was a nice touch showing how much everything was weighing on Geto's mind, and the clapping eventually stopping when he was told neither of the outcomes Sukuna mentioned were his true thoughts. Just more details like that. And moving on to the latter half of the season, the Shibuya incident arc, which has been one of the more highly anticipated new gen shonen arcs, we've had amazing battles and scenes week after week after week, with amazing animation and choreography. and I always find it interesting seeing people's thoughts on a weekly basis, because just when you think things have gotten crazy, the following week just exceeds expectations. We had the fight between Gojo and the Disaster Curses, which was insanely hype in its own right, his 0.2 second domain expansion and execution of over 1,000 transfigured humans, which showcased the power of the strongest sorcerer of the modern era, leading to him getting sealed, and the hope that was the foundation of Jujutsu Society being snuffed out. And immediately after this, we had more epic moments like with Yuji and Megumi versus the old guy, the resurrection of Toji, Nanami absolutely bullying Haruta, Yuji versus Chozo, the Dagon fight, Toji versus Megumi, Jogo vs Sukuna. In terms of hype, this season of Jujutsu Kaisen has definitely delivered, and all of the extra details, extended scenes, dialogues we've gotten, it's honestly a great time to be a Jujutsu Kaisen fan. And like I said at the start of the video of how animes in recent times have become more ambitious, Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, if I'm being truthfully honest, is a perfect showing of how good and bad this can be for anime as a whole. However, with that being said, I still think this adaptation so far has been nothing short of amazing, and again, I wish we could have seen how it would have looked if being produced in a more healthy and positive environment. This is definitely one for the history books, as the Shibuya incident arc, in my opinion, has already made big waves in the world despite not even being finished. There's still more heat to come, guys, in the next few weeks. But with that being said, let me know what your personal thoughts are on the current season of Jujutsu Kaisen as a whole, and any things you would have liked to see done better, or things you thought that were done perfectly. Honestly, for me, this is going to have to be one of those I'm going to have to buy the Blu-ray situations, which I've never done before, but I have to re-experience this in the highest quality possibly available, because it's been pure cinema for me already, and I appreciate the work put behind it to make these episodes. But if you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe, since we're still trying to hit 20k subscribers before the end of the year, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.